Hello friends, so we are going to be making our awesome street perspective drawing today. Now the biggest thing is that you are going to need a ruler or some sort of pencil in order for you to make some straight lines. The very first thing is that you're going to draw a straight line going across your paper, and this is called the horizon line. The horizon line basically just means that this is where the land meets the sky, right? Now I'm going to go from one corner to the other corner of my paper, and I'm going to connect them by drawing a line. Now, if this isn't perfect, that's okay. Just try your best, right? In the end, you're going to have 3 total lines. You're going to have your horizon line, and then you're going to have your 2 lines going into it. This point in the middle right here, this is called the vanishing point. This is where everything goes into. This is where the tiniest of the tiniest things are, all right? And that is the most important part of this. So what we're going to do is, since this is a street, we're going to have some buildings on it. The buildings will probably be the toughest part for you guys to make. This is going to be the most 3D looking thing, okay? Now, everything that is straight or that is not going into the vanishing point is the things that are parallel to the paper. So if it's straight and not vanishing, it's parallel to the paper. So I'm going to draw my first line that is straight, and that's going to be the one side of the building. Now I have to decide how big this building is, and I have to make sure that it vanishes into here. So I'm going to use that, and I already made sure by sliding my pencil in order to make where that line goes to. Now I need to make it 3D, so I'm going to add that second line. And this is where it's going to be a little bit weird. Since it faces us, it's going to have that line that's straight, okay? Now I have to do it to my other side, right? So I have to figure out, so if my building is going to be this tall, right? Then I have that part, and then I have my little straight line there. So there is my building. It's a little 3D. The part that's on the side is going to go into it. The part that's flat towards me is going to be straight, regular lines. Let's try that again. So I have my straight line here, and I'm going to make another straight line too, because that's going to be my flat side here. Now I'm going to use my pencil. I'm going to draw my line going that way, and then I'm going to also draw my line going this way. Now I have to draw the flat side. That's going to be the part that's straight towards me. And look at that. So now I have 2 3D buildings, right? So I can make these buildings go even more in. And do you notice how as they are going? So the idea of this is just to create the different ways. And the awesome thing is you always use your vanishing point for the sides of the building, and they will eventually vanish into one another, and that's kind of the coolest part of it too. So I really hope that you can make at least 3 buildings. If you need a little bit more to fill up the space, I highly suggest the practice, just because I find it really cool to see just so many buildings on the side. Kind of reminds me of like going through a smaller town and seeing all the buildings as you go down the street, right? And there you have it. There are your buildings. Super fun, right? And I hope to see you all soon. Bye, friends. So let's work on our other side. You can make buildings on the other side as well, or you can make trees or something else. I like to make trees, and your trees can be anything. Remember that they should go above the horizon line though, because everything will be very short if it's too below it. Another thing is that as it's getting closer to the vanishing point, they should be getting smaller and smaller, right? Because they are vanishing into it. Super cool, right? Now for the street, I usually just do those little yellow lines in order to show that we are going down the street. Now you can make them even bigger as they come along too. Let's see, if we want to make a sidewalk, that is pretty easy. You're just making a very, very thin line that goes all the way down on both sides, right? Because we want our sidewalks on both sides of this, right? And the thing is, our sidewalks, they're going to have straight lines going across because they are not going into the vanishing point, right? So I have my straight lines going across. Now, let's say you wanted to add windows. If you want to add windows to the flat part, they're super easy, right? Because you just draw boxes, okay? But let's say you wanted to make the windows on the side part. You do have to use the vanishing line. So if I'm making the vanishing line here, that's what makes it have those different lines, right? And then I have the straight lines going this way. And look how cool that is. Now I have all these little details. Very fun. And that's where we'll leave it today. We're just adding something over to the other side, adding sidewalks, the street, then maybe adding a little bit of windows to it too. All right, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye, friends. So now let's think about the background. What's gonna go in the background? You can make mountains, you can make a really big sunset. It's kind of up to you. So I like to make mountains. The mountains are gonna start on the horizon line, right? And they're not gonna go any further down. And I'm just gonna draw just kind of a couple different ones, right? And then I'm going to erase the lines that I had before because guess what? I don't need them anymore, okay? So I'm erasing those lines that were connected, and then I'm just gonna erase any that overlap some of my drawings that I made. So like the trees, the buildings, you know, in order to have that there. And look at how nice. And that's where I hope you guys end up today, just finding the finished product of this. If you needed to practice for a few days and then, you know, have that final product, that's okay. And that's where we're ending off. So I hope you are doing well with this, and I hope you like this. Bye, friends.